Hey, 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 hey. Here we are back again tonight. Now, you know how it is. We're speaking excellence. And I'm Tony Davis. You know, most folks call me Pastor D, but I said, you know what, for this, I'm just plain old Tony or Anthony or whatever anybody wants to say. And I came on the other day, and it was the beginning for me to get back into doing what God has called me to do, which is to bring a word and to talk to people. And man, I tell you, it was a struggle. And after that first night, I said, "Ooh, I don't know, what am I doing? Have I really done this? Can I do this? Can I do this?" And we were talking about just, the whole idea was redeeming the time. And I spoke briefly about how you need to redeem the time, that although you might have made plans or goals set that you did in January for this year, come August, if you're like me, you haven't done many of them because so many other things have come up in life. And so when that does, what do? We don't get things done. But I wanted to be a voice for everybody who hasn't been heard, people that are disenfranchised, you're pissed off at somebody, you're mad. You don't want to go to church, you're mad at God, you're mad at the pastors. Maybe you're just mad at your spouse, maybe you're mad at your job. I don't know who you're mad at. But there needs to be a voice that you can hear, a voice of reason that will listen to what you have to say and to bring you some viable wisdom to help you feel as though things are going to be better in your life. And that's my whole purpose. When I've gone through all the things that I have in life and been there, and I tell you, I've been through some crazy stuff. And what's missing is you see all the stuff on the news, and they don't speak for you really. You see the stuff on your job, and you may or may not have a voice. Hell, you may not even have a good voice within your own home. There may be issues between husbands and wives or significant others and just family. And so you're really trying to find out what needs to be done. Well, I'm here as that voice. I'm here as a person that can breathe new life into you, because what we call this program is speaking excellence. In other words, I can point out a whole bunch of things that people did wrong or others did wrong, or say I don't like this or that. But what good does it really do us? Because they're going to go on about their business and do what they want to do. And here we are left trying to figure out what to do. But what we're going to do here is to speak excellence. I want to deal and address issues that all of us are dealing with that need to be addressed. And you want somebody to say something. And if you're like me, you want somebody to hear what you have to say. And like I said the other day, we were talking about redeeming the time. The fact that, 8 months has passed, and how much have we done in life that we're supposed to do? I don't know. But what I focused on was that there are 4 months left in this year. And if you begin today, or it was the other day when we did this, if you begin then, you got 4 months to try to put something together. And watch this. Whatever you accomplish at the end of those 4 months, that's what you accomplished. So many times we're caught up with folks who want to say, well, what we didn't do, what we couldn't do, what we should have. And maybe the person that's pointing the finger at you is you. Maybe you're pointing the finger at yourself and you're so hard on yourself. But let me tell you something. I don't want you to be hard on yourself. I don't want you to put yourself down. And if other people are putting you down, I want you to dismiss what they have to say. Because you have a lot, you have lived this long in life, and you have a lot to offer. You've got a lot that you can bring to the table. And you need that encouragement, and you need the ability to say, hey, I can do that. Now, what we're going to look at tonight, just for a brief moment, is another, and again, listen, I'm going to give you a scripture from the word, but I'm not trying to preach. We're just going to talk. But I like to use it as a foundation because it's what changed my life. But there's a scripture in 2 Corinthians 13 that says, examine yourselves, whether you be in the faith, prove your own selves. Know you not your own self, how that Jesus Christ in you, except you be reprobates. But the key that I want to focus on tonight is it says, examine yourself. And in doing so, we've spent so much time trying to look at what other people have to say about us, what we have said about ourselves in the past. But now it's time for us to just look at us. And when we talk about looking at us, in other words, I want to dismiss everybody else from the equation except for me. I want to look and take a look at my own life and ask my own self, what is it that I need to change? And to be honest with me about what I need to change. And the thing that I hope that any of you get from what I'm talking about tonight is this, that when we finish examining ourselves, that we feel better about ourselves. That we look at ourselves and say, you know what, look, I'm good. I'm good by myself. I mean, I don't want people to be in bad relationships. I don't want you to be unhappy because people are dying. There are things that are happening in this world and we're losing people every day. And that's one of the things that I'm realizing. Look, I'm 59. I'll be 60 soon. I don't know how many days I got left, but I want to make the most of my days. And I don't want to make the most out of my day by trying to do something that somebody else wanted me to do. I don't want to live my life because somebody else says, well, this is what I want you to do. I want to live for me. And I want to be the one that's in control of my destiny. And I want to be the one that says, you know what, I've listened to all these things that people have said and they've attached to my mind and gotten in my situation, in my life. And quite frankly, at the end of the day, when everybody's doing what they do after they give you their opinion, they're not thinking about you. You're left there by yourself. So now, because we're speaking excellence, I want you to understand and gain something. When you examine yourself, the first thing you want to do is to appreciate the fact that you are who you are. In other words, no matter what you've done in life, where you've been, what you've accomplished or not, you are what you are. Point blank right there. Secondly, listen to me. Listen to me. Love who you are. That's right. Love yourself. Whether you're tall, you're short, you're wide, you're narrow, I don't care. Love yourself because you have something to offer this world. You've got a mind, you've got a perspective, you have opinions, you've got a smile. You know, some of the best things that we can do for people, I got out, is to smile. Have you seen somebody, you go to the store and you get to the clerk? Now, everything is self-service now, so you don't get to many clerks. But when you get to a particular clerk, they're looking down and they're pushing your stuff through and they're not smiling, that's, hey, they look up at me, I said, smile. And a lot of them will give you a smile back, but then some of them are so caught into what they're doing, they can't even give you a smile because of what they're going through. And I feel for that because somebody is causing somebody not to have a bad day. Listen, I don't condone bad relationships. Men, I don't ever condone you putting your hands on a female. Females, you got to take care of yourself and look out for your best self, but be in a position that you can be happy. When God asks us to examine ourselves, he wants us to look, and sometimes we think the negative, that I'm going to look at myself and find out all my flaws and things. No, find those good qualities. Because you know what? You're a good person by yourself. You are good. You got to get to the point where you get up and you're happy and you're walking around and you're just excited about who you are. Who cares what somebody thinks? Who cares what somebody says? I'm sick of people always got something to say about somebody else. Look at yourself. Boy, if folks would look at themselves, they wouldn't say too much, would they? But when you get to there, I want you to look and find those qualities about you that are good qualities. Qualities that make you who you are. That you've got something to offer. You've got peace. You got love. I see people in just the smile and the joy. When you have that joy on the inside of who you are, man, can't nobody stop you. I'm in the process now of trying to put some things together and really to take a different course in life, a different road. Because I always thought that I had to preach. I had to be behind the pulpit. I had to do this. And when I got back there, I was disenchanted with the things that I saw. Although God is real in the relationship that we have with him, there are a lot of people that are doing this or call themselves pastors, apostles, whatever. And I'm not putting down those that are legitimate, but there's a lot of fakery going back there. There's a lot of people who are doing things for their own personal benefit, and they don't really give a hoot about who you are. And so I've found that you can think outside the box, that I can do what God called me to do outside of the sanctuary. That there's an audience of folks like yourselves that need somebody that will speak into their life, that understands relationships, that understands the things that we go to, whether you've been married 3 years or 30 years. See, there are dynamics in all these different types of relationships. And the worst thing that I hate to see is people that have been together for so long suddenly come to this divide in the road or the crossroads, and they think, well, I can do better on the other side. Oh, really? You can. So after 25, 30 years with somebody, suddenly you can do better on the other side. Maybe there may be a rare occasion that's true. But let me tell you, when people really want to decide to focus on themselves and be happy with themselves instead of looking for somebody else to try to make you happy, see, here's the deal. Nobody can make you happy but you. Ain't nobody knocking at the door talking about, who is it? Happiness. Ain't no happiness come. I've been waiting on happiness to come, and whether it's FedEx or UPS, the postman, I don't care. And yet, in all these years, ain't nobody brought happiness. So if I don't leave my house with my own happiness, I don't have it. And I can't expect somebody else to make me happy. I've got to look within myself and find the things that make me happy. Now, all of us, unless something is strange about you, were kids at one time. We ran around, snotty nose, dirty boogers running down our face. And we didn't care. We was happy. Back in my day, little army men out there. We didn't have all these electronics and stuff. So, we played in the dirt and the rain, whatever. But there was a time when I was just a kid being happy. And if I can share this with you, that although you may have developed and grown and got some age and probably some gray like me, that kid is still there. And there's still that joy that you can have by being happy just within yourself. It's not your spouse's issue. It's not your job's issue. It's not somebody else's issue. Happiness comes from the inside. You make it because you want to make it, and you have it because you want to have it. Now, if you don't want to have it and you want to be sad, you probably want to talk to me, because sad people, what you sad about? It's about being happy these days. So when we say examine yourself, I'm simply just saying look back, take an assessment. And I'm going to be dealing with this for the next couple of shows and things that I do. I'm going to stick on this subject of examine yourself, because I want us to dig deep inside and find out who we really are, because your best days may be ahead. If you've had nothing but trouble in your past, maybe your best days ahead. Maybe there's a new invention or a new job or a new career, something that you want to do. It does you no good if it only exists in your mind and that you don't act upon it. Listen, when you finally get to the grave, you want to be exhausted totally. You want to tell God or whomever you serve, hey, I did all I could. Now I'm ready for the second part. But while you're here, do the best things that you can do. The first one, like I said, is make yourself happy. Find those things inside yourself that you like to do, that you like to say, and put some credence to them. In other words, instead of saying, well, my mate or my spouse didn't like that, or, my friends didn't like that. What about you? What about things that you like to do? What about things that you want to accomplish? Whether it's going back to school, whether it's taking an online course, maybe it's getting into photography or something. You got to examine yourself and find out. Now, here is a critical step that you're going to need to do. There is a part of you that has been happy with just being who you are. And it may be accepting mediocrity or accepting things that are nothing, but you've been happy with that. We've got to find that individual within us and let them know directly, dismiss them, eradicate them, just like the devil, kick them out, tell them that their opinions about you are no longer wanted. So you have to deem yourself viable and essential to this world. You have to see yourself as a living embodiment of life. And you want to be able to go out and just live the best life that you can. We raise our kids to be better than us, to have more than us. But in this world of technology today, they get caught up, and we have to teach them the essentials that the best thing that you can do is to put the rubber to the road. You got to be yourself. You all have a quality about yourself that doesn't exist in anyone else. If my fingerprint is the only one in the world, and God was wise enough to assure that that's it, then there's something, a quality about me that's the only thing in the world. Some of you are great entrepreneurs. Some of you are great motivators and talkers. Some of you are just great friends. Whatever it is, find that goodness, that thing about you which is going to make you better. Whether you're a single mother, whether you're a father out there struggling, whether you're ex-con, whether you're ex whatever, it doesn't matter. Whether you have money and you've blown it all, because money isn't the end all to get all. I mean, it's good. Money's a defense. It helps pay the bills. But there's something about you that's greater than all of that. And when you tap into it, and whatever God you serve, you allow to show you that that person or that thing or that individual or that quality is good. You might have put it away when you were young because it didn't fit because you had kids. You may have put it away because it didn't fit because you didn't have the finances. You may put it away because your spouse or significant other said, no, I don't like that. So you're trying to please them. Well, now we're at a time where it's time to please you. Because listen to me. If you are not happy yourself, then how do you make me happy? How can you make anybody else happy? So drudgery and downdom and all that stuff can make somebody happy? No, it can't. And if you're not happy and you can't make others happy, you're living in gloom and doom. You're living in a place where you're allowing circumstances or situations to overtake you. But now's the time for us to change. You know, isn't it? I'm like this. Look, it's 2022. It's August. It's a new day. I want to sit down. I want to write down all the qualities that are good in my life, that I like, the things about me that I like, that I'm happy with. Now, I will say this. If you're a person that just can't seem to find anything that you've been happy about, stick with me long enough. I'm going to help you find those things that will make you happy or those things that are truly happy. See, the problem is somewhere along the line, and maybe when it was young, you were young or something, somebody just totally kept ridiculing you, kept that block that, no, I can never accomplish nothing. But I'm telling you that you can. And I'm telling you that you can make a difference in this world. This world is jacked up. We got all kind of people on the red side, the blue side, and that's just in America. Y'all ain't even looked at other countries that have their own internal issues. We so caught up with donkeys and elephants around here and following. I ain't following nobody. God has given all of you the ability to do anything that you want to do. And let me remind you, if you haven't been reminded lately, you are the greatest thing on this earth that God has given, because there's only one you. Yes, one day we'll go to the other place, but until that time, isn't it about time that we enjoy the life that God gave us to live? You ain't got to have no money to be happy. You just got to be, look, I'm just going to be happy because I want to be. Now, after you've looked at yourself and you found these qualities, look at the things that you can accomplish. If you don't have people that are there to push you, then you push yourself. If there's nobody there to pat you on the back, guess what? Pat yourself on the back. Be your best referee, your best cheerleader. And if you have an issue or problem with that, keep trying. I'm telling you, it'll work. Because once you start saying, you know what, and if you got this big old circle of friends, you don't let everybody in. Here's what you do to find happiness. You reduce this circle right here to about this size. You got to disqualify some folks. You got to ask yourself, who in that circle has not been contributing to your cause? Who's not been encouraging you? Who's always got a side look? Or who always think you can, or when you need them, they ain't there. But if they need you, you're Johnny on the spot. One of the things I talk about in redeeming the time is learning to say no. No. You know what? That's been the hardest thing I've had when I was pastoring, is telling folk no. I always wanted to be there and to see that I could do something, but I've learned through time, sometimes you have to say no. It hasn't been easy, but it's been necessary. And as I find these things and as I begin to put things together, that's why I call this speaking excellence, because you know what? I can choose to be negative or I can choose to be positive. Well, guess what? I choose to be positive. I choose to make sure, I got to adjust this camera here. I don't put this thing up and it was running out on me. So there we got some more juice. We can talk for a minute. I choose to do the things that I want to do and to be happy about them. And it doesn't matter what anyone thinks. Now, it doesn't mean that like I have a problem now with my wife, because I don't. I love her and I love her a lot. But I've also shared with her that she needs to do the things that make her happy. To make her happy. And watch this. It even includes, you want to leave me? Whatever makes you happy. Now, we're going to work together and we're going to be together, but we have to make room for us to do the things that God has called us to be happy in. And because the word says to examine yourselves to see if you're in the faith, I want to make sure I'm where God wants me to be. And I say this to you too. I'm going to wind this down. You know, not everybody believes in the same God I do, and that's okay. And it's not for me to judge somebody else and to tell them that what they believe is wrong. I'm to believe in what I do and to understand what I do, but to make allowances for people to have differences. That's the problem with our world today. Everybody said, if you don't do like I do, then something's wrong with you. That's a lie from the pits of hell. But I want you to, whatever you believe, to choose to trust that your God is going to do what needs to be done and he's going to put you there. Whether you believe in God, whether you believe in Allah, whether you believe in whatever you believe. Because at the end of the day, guess what? We don't control none of it. Our faith and our opinions and our prayers, and we think we know about this and holy this. We don't know. We don't know jack. What we do know is that we can establish a relationship. And if you get anything from your faith or your God, it should be to love everybody. Now, there are some people that are hard to love. There are some people that you can't love, but it doesn't stop the fact that you are a loving machine, that you choose to love as opposed to hate. There's too much hatred and people are dying. You see the news every day. You know, folks is killing each other. Now they're killing Muslims in another state, you know, in New Mexico. I mean, what is going on? Why is there so much hatred? And I tell you what, them people that are committing all these crimes are not happy. They're buying the hype. They're believing all this crap that people are selling. That's why you have to dismiss this big circle and reduce your circle for the sake of your own sanity. I'm not saying you can't socialize with people, but don't open yourselves up to everybody that you did. Be very cognizant that you keep your opinions or your plans to yourself. Not everybody wants to see you succeed. And not everybody wants to see you have success. So you have to be careful and you have to guard it. Just like you wouldn't let anybody just walk into your house any time of the day or walk into the bathroom when you're in there. Stop letting people walk into your life unannounced or uncalled. Shorten that list of people. Doesn't mean that they can't be associates. But watch this. When you begin to stand up for yourself, as you're examining this whole process of who I am, you're going to find that you allow people in that shouldn't be there, and you need to get them out quick, fast, in a hurry. That's why we're going to stick on this whole concept and idea of examining yourself, because there's so many different areas and ways that I can take it. And I want to take the time to spend it, because you know what I found is that this is my platform now. This is the way that I'm going to come to you. This is not about money. This is not about trying to get rich. This is about trying to give the wisdom that I have to you and share with you, and really watch it, to learn from you too. And from this, we can gain and hopefully set a new standard. I'm doing what I want to do. Not what somebody says Tony should do, and you can't do this and this guy. And I ain't studying all them people. All these fake apostles and people that think that they all this and that about power. Listen, bottom line is in any religion, the men and women of God are servants. They serve a greater God. We're not gods, not to be looked at as gods. You know, I'm a man, a black man that's trying to make it, but I've got wisdom and knowledge, and I want to share it with you. I want us to have a good time as we talk. Listen, you can contact me, and I got an old, let me see, I got an old email. It's Dr. Anthony Davis at AOL.com. Yes, I'm still using AOL. Dr. Anthony Davis at AOL.com. If you got a comment, a question, a concern, or maybe right here you can put comments on this live of things or subjects you want to hear me talk about or things we want to get into, let me know, because we can address those issues. Because you finally got a voice that is not controlled by anything or anyone, to bring you a word, to share with you some things that are going to be enlightening, hopefully encouraging, hopefully full of excellence and knowledge. And you know what? I'm not studying or thinking about anybody to the contrary. If for some reason you may be one of them people to say, hey, I don't like what you do, ask me if I care. And the answer is no. See, if I come on here and one person is on, cool. If 10,000 are on, cool. It's not about numbers or crowds. It's about somebody who says, hey, Tony, I want to hear what you got to say. I like the way you kicking it. I like how you deliver what you deliver. I'm looking for somebody to be real about something and to tell me the truth about some things. Some of the things that we'll talk about in other programs are human trafficking. You know, I've been doing that for over 12 years, fighting human trafficking. Domestic violence. We'll talk about those issues and talk about power and control that men have in the relationships, and also power and control in same-sex relationships, because that's an issue too. We'll talk about relationships. We'll talk about our kids. We'll talk about vacationing, cruising, anything that's going to be encouraging to you to change and to give you those last few days. Let me share with you this. I'm a Davis. And I come from a long line of Davis men and women who have fought for freedom, who have fought to be reckoned with, who have come at some point from somewhere in Africa, and they're here, and for years they have fought on both sides of my family, the Sanderlands, the Davises. And I'm going to keep that going. I'm going to do what's right. I'm going to do what I feel needs to be done, regardless of whether or not somebody thinks it's the thing to do. If you don't like what I do, so what? Listen, SW, SW, SW. Some will, some won't, so what? Some will like you, some won't like you, so what? Some will get it, some won't get it, so what? It's the same. It's the same. We're going to have some fun talking about some real stuff, and I'm going to do it at night and stuff because I don't want the kids necessarily to be around to address all that mess. But listen, if we got some things you want to ask about kids, raising kids, about relationships, about men being men, ladies, you know, I can only tell you what I've seen and do. I'm not a woman, so I'm careful of what I try to say to women, but I do understand relationships. I am working on my own. It's a constant thing to do. But I got 25 plus years in on that. So you know what? Listen, it's been a pleasure. If I ain't doing nothing but talking to myself, I think I like it. Because again, when you examine yourself and you find those things that make you happy, do this for me tonight. Before you go to sleep, just tell yourself, self, it's time that we get happy. And we get happy alone. And then when you begin to enjoy the fact that you are who you are, and from my perspective, you are beautiful with your clothes on. Ladies, y'all wonderful. Men, y'all are dynamite. I believe in all of you. I don't care what you've done or what somebody said or what has happened in the past. I believe in you. I believe that you can become to do anything that you want to do in life. So if you're looking for an encouraging word, this is where you should stay tuned in. This man right here, moi, speaking excellence. Man, that feels good to say. Excellence. So much better than, and you ain't, shh. Miss me. I paid too many people homage and given them respect, and they've let me down because they didn't know who they were. They were searching for who they were. And I know who y'all know who I'm talking about. I still don't care. But I wish everybody happiness and peace. Listen, it looks like my time is up because I don't want to overdo this thing. We do about a half hour every time we get together. But you've been listening to Tony Davis here, speaking excellence. And I thank you for listening, and I hope that you push the share button. Share this with somebody. Somebody needs to hear some encouraging words. Be the facilitator to bring them that encouragement and make their life a better place. And just tell them who loves you. I do, because we love everybody. Y'all take care, and I'll see you. I don't know how often I'm going to do this program, whenever I get it. I did the other day. It's Monday. I may be back tomorrow. I may be back Wednesday. But y'all be looking out for me because we are establishing something, and it's going someplace. Be positive. Be excellent. But be who you are. I'll see you on the other side. Later. And thank you for listening to me too, because this has been a plum pleasing pleasure to bring you this state of excellence. From my place to yours, may God continue to bless you.